He walked through the gate and surveyed the ponies grazing outside the walls, glad to leave the tower behind. He whistled and Felloon trotted over, ready to ride. In truth, Rob felt more at home on the horse than anywhere else. The ground beneath the pony's hooves, the land itself was home to him. He was part of it. Hills, moss, rocks and soil. Kin to the earth, he sometimes thought, and not to men at all. But that was the way of all Brunsons, since the first. A Brunson was of the land, of this land. The other half of him, the half some men found in mates, that half was in these hills. None would force them asunder. He reached the closest family before the sun was high. Bleating sheep milled about and a well-trained dog tidied the edges of the flock, responding to his master's whistle. Rob nodded to the man. All well? Not to suggest Fingerless Joe needed help, simply to be here if he did. Aye. A new lamb, wobbly on his legs, stayed close to its mother. Rob swallowed. The little one, strong enough to move to high land come June. The man shrugged. He will, or he won't. Rob looked away, towards hills that blurred before his eyes. It was the way of things. Weakness meant death, for man or beast. He looked back at Joe, clear-eyed again. Any sign of Storwick's? Another shake of the head. Next week, then. Rob pushed a knee into his horse's side and the beast turned, obedient. No sign of them that Fingerless Joe might see. Rob would look for himself. By midday, Rob was high above the valley where a hoof-worn track wound across the hills and over the border, one he knew well, as did the Storwicks. He rode across the border and back, looking for fresh horse droppings. The path was clear, so he returned to his side of the hill, dismounted, stretched out on the ground and gazed down on the valley that was his. Clear this day. Clear as he'd seldom seen. He could see all the way to the tower, thrusting up strong from the greening grass. Tempting to a Storwick, aye, but there was no weakness there. Not now. Something shifted. The wind. A scent. A sound. He stiffened, alert, and turned his head. Above him and to his left sat a woman, silent and stiff, eyes fixed on him warily as if he were a Storwick. He fashed himself for not looking carefully before leaving his horse. What if he'd been surprised by the enemy? Neither spoke, looking. Dark hair tumbled across her shoulders, but he would not call her beautiful, at least not from this angle. Eyes and lips fought for control of her face. Her nose was too strong, her chin too sharp. She looked vaguely familiar, but he had seen every far-flung Brunson at one time or another. Still, he could not summon which branch of the family was hers. You're far from home, he began, still trying to place her. The Tate cousin lived nearest, but he had no daughters. She drew herself up into a crouch, like a wary animal ready to run. Nay, so far. He raised and lowered his shoulders, sorry he had frightened her. He motioned his head uphill towards the border. Storwicks are no more than 5 miles away. Not taking her eyes from his, she stood slowly and took a step back, as if nearness to the enemy had just occurred to her. The blush on her cheek paled. Have I crossed the border, then? Nay. He rose to his feet, uncomfortable that she stood while he was stretched out on the grass. What was the strange...